evening and welcome to this week's News Digest. We'll provide you a brief overview of the major events you need to know about. Sweden's deadliest school shooting, at least 11 killed in Örebro attack. Trump orders the shutdown of USAID, fallout and global consequences. Netanyahu and Trump discuss Gaza strategy amid rising global tensions. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan to establish joint industrial cooperation center to boost regional trade. Kazakhstan's hemp industry, economic opportunity or social threat. Kazakhstan updates citizenship process amid rising applications. How a girl managed to conquer aviation. In a tragic turn of events, Sweden has experienced its deadliest mass shooting to date. On February 4th, 2025, a mass shooting occurred at Campus Riberska, an adult education center in Örebro. The incident resulted in the death of at least 11 individuals, including the suspected gunman, and left several others injured. The attack took place around 12:30 p.m. local time. Emergency services responded promptly, evacuating nearby schools and securing the area. The injured were transported to Örebro University Hospital for treatment. Authorities have identified the shooter as a 35-year-old man who was not previously known to law enforcement. Preliminary investigations suggest he acted alone, and there is currently no evidence pointing to ideological or terrorist motives. Eyewitnesses described scenes of panic as students and staff attempted to escape or find shelter. One teacher recounted leading her class to safety upon hearing gunshots. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson addressed the nation, expressing profound sorrow and condemning the violence against innocent individuals. He emphasized the importance of unity and resilience in the face of such tragedies. As the investigation continues, authorities are urging the public to rely on official channels for information and to avoid spreading unverified details. The community of Örebro is in mourning, with vigils being held to honor the victims of this unprecedented tragedy. The Trump administration has ordered the immediate shutdown of USAID, the United States government's primary agency for foreign assistance. Offices are being closed, funding frozen, and thousands of staff either laid off or reassigned. The impact is already being felt worldwide. The administration claims the agency is inefficient and corrupt. Elon Musk, now head of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, described USAID as a criminal organization that has failed to serve American interests. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has assumed control of the transition process. The immediate consequences are severe. Foreign aid programs in Africa, Asia, and Latin America have been halted. Emergency food deliveries and medical assistance have stopped mid-operation. Reports confirm that supplies remain stranded in warehouses as staff await further instruction. Organizations relying on USAID funding have begun mass layoffs. Some are considering legal action, arguing that the move violates federal contracting laws. The administration justifies its decision as part of a broader effort to reduce government spending. Critics argue the move weakens the United States' influence globally. Analysts warn that adversaries like China and Russia will step in to fill the void, strengthening their diplomatic and economic presence in regions previously reliant on American aid. Congressional Democrats have condemned the shutdown, calling it reckless. They are pushing for a legislative action to reinstate funding, though the Republican-led House appears unlikely to support such measures. A lawsuit challenging the shutdown is already being prepared. In response to public outcry, Rubio announced limited waivers to allow essential aid shipments to resume. However, most programs remain suspended, with no clear timeline for restatement. The full consequences of this decision will unfold in coming weeks. But for now, millions who depended on USAID assistance are left in uncertainty. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with United States President Donald Trump in Washington to discuss the future of Gaza Strip with a focus on demilitarization and post-conflict redevelopment. The meeting, which took place at White House, comes as Israel continues its military operations in Gaza and seeks long-term solutions to ensure security in the region. During the meeting, Prime Minister Netanyahu expressed strong support for United States-led stabilization initiative, arguing that Gaza's current state poses a security threat to Israel and the broader region. He reiterated that any future governance in Gaza mustn't include Hamas or any armed Palestinian factions, emphasizing that the enclave must be demilitarized and fully secured before long-term peace can be achieved. Netanyahu and Trump discussed several potential solutions, including a temporary United States security presence to oversee the removal of Hamas military infrastructure, unexploded ordnance, and underground tunnels. The Israeli leader also raised the possibility of regional cooperation, suggesting that Arab states could assist in managing post-war Gaza, though no official agreement was reached on this front. The Israeli Prime Minister framed the vision for Gaza as an opportunity for transformation, suggesting that once stabilized, the region could become a thriving commercial and tourism hub rather than a battleground for militant groups. However, he made it clear that Israel will not tolerate any return of Hamas governance in any form. President Trump reportedly proposed a temporary United States role in overseeing Gaza's transition, ensuring that security is maintained and that internationally backed reconstruction efforts can take place with interference from militant groups. Sources indicate that Washington wouldn't support any immediate return of the Palestinian Authority to Gaza without guarantees of security cooperation with Israel. Trump's proposal has already drawn sharp international criticism, as it suggests that the United States would play a direct role in managing a foreign territory. Critics argue that such move would violate international law and could exacerbate tensions in the region. The Palestinian Authority and Hamas have strongly condemned the discussions with Hamas, warning of explosive consequences if the plan moves forward. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas accused the United States and Israel of attempting to impose an unilateral solution without Palestinian involvement, calling for immediate international intervention. Hamas officials warned that any attempt to displace Palestinians from Gaza or enforce external rule would result in a new wave of resistance. In a statement, Hamas leadership declared that Gaza belongs to its people and any foreign interference will be met with force. The global response to Trump and Netanyahu's discussion has been overwhelmingly negative. Russia and China have condemned the proposal, stating that any changes to Gaza's governance must come through diplomatic negotiations, not foreign occupation. The Chinese Foreign Ministry reaffirmed its support for a two-state solution and called for immediate ceasefire efforts. Saudi Arabia has rejected the plan, emphasizing that it will not support any displacement of Palestinians and that Gaza's future must be determined by its people. Egypt and Jordan, both key regional players, strongly opposed any forced displacement of Palestinians, warning that such actions would destabilize the region and could violate multiple international agreements. Turkey called the proposal an imperialist intervention, with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan vowing to oppose any attempt to remove Palestinians from their land. European Union leaders, including France and Spain, have called for an urgent UN resolution condemning any unilateral actions in Gaza. Trump's proposal has sparked deep divisions within the United States political landscape. Democrats and some Republican lawmakers have voiced concerns that such a move could draw the United States into another prolonged conflict in the Middle East. Opponents argue that the U.S. doesn't have the legal authority to assume control over Gaza, warning that such a move could lead to international legal consequences. The United Nations Security Council is expected to hold an emergency session to discuss the proposal and determine whether it violates existing United Nations resolution on Palestine. Trump and Netanyahu's closed-door discussion on United States involvement in Gaza's future have ignited a geopolitical storm, with world leaders warning that any unilateral actions could worsen tensions. While Israel sees this as an opportunity to ensure long-term security, the Palestinians, key regional players, and major global powers view it as a dangerous overreach that could lead to further instability possibility with the United Nations, European Union and Arab League all voicing strong opposition. The situation now hinges on whether the Trump administration will proceed with its vision or reconsider under mounting international pressure. Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan have signed a landmark agreement to establish a joint industrial cooperation center at their border, aiming to strengthen economic ties and boost trade. The project is one of the largest joint economic initiatives between the two countries and represents a significant step in deepening regional cooperation. The center will be located near the Atamikan checkpoint in Kazakhstan and Gulistan in Uzbekistan, covering an area of 100 hectares, equally divided between both countries. It will include industrial production zones, logistic hubs, warehouses, customs infrastructure and transport corridors designed to optimize supply chains. The project is expected to reduce logistic costs, speed up cross-border trade and attract investments in key industries such as manufacturing, textiles and agriculture. Construction is planned to begin this year, with the first phase set to be completed by the end of 2026 and full operations expected to commence in 2027. The two governments anticipate that this initiative will significantly increase bilateral trade turnover, which has already surpassed $5 billion in 2024, with projections to reach $10 billion by 2030. Officials from both nations emphasize that the center will serve as a key platform for industrial cooperation, job creation and regional economic integration. Kazakhstan's Prime Minister noted that this project aligns with the country's 2030 industrialization strategy, while Uzbekistan's leadership highlighted its role in enhancing trade flows across Central Asia and strengthening economic ties within the Eurasian region. Experts see this initiative as a major step toward deeper regional economic integration, with potential benefits extending beyond the two nations to include Russia, China and other Central Asian countries. Observers also know that this could serve as a model for similar projects within the Eurasian Economic Union, enhancing connectivity and trade efficiency. With the establishment of this industrial cooperation center, Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan are setting a precedent for stronger economic collaboration in Central Asia. The success of this initiative could not only benefit the two countries, but also serve as a regional hub for industrial growth and innovation. As construction begins, all eyes will be on how this project reshapes the economic landscape in Central Asia in the coming years. Kazakhstan is seeing growing interest in the industrial processing of hemp, sparking economic optimism while also raising concerns about public health and legal risks. Prime Minister Olzhas Bektenov has highlighted significant investor interest in the sector, with major projects planned, including a new processing plant in North Kazakhstan capable of handling 1,200 tons of raw material daily. Several companies have also been granted licenses to cultivate hemp under strict regulations. Industrial hemp has a wide range of applications across various industries, including cosmetics and food products, pharmaceuticals, textile and paper industries. Unlike marijuana, industrial hemp is cultivated with low THC levels, meaning it doesn't produce psychoactive effects. Officials emphasize that all final products will comply with strict safety regulations. Despite its economic potential, the expansion of the hemp industry raises risk of illegal use. Law enforcement officials warn that without tight monitoring, the industry could not be misused for drug production. Medical experts warn about the long-term risk of cannabis consumption, including psychological dependence, cognitive impairment, and cardiovascular issues. In 2024, large quantities of illegal marijuana were seized in Shymkent, highlighting concerns over uncontrolled cultivation. Kazakhstan has implemented strict licensing and regulatory oversight for the cultivation and processing of hemp. Unauthorized production, storage or distribution of cannabis remains a criminal offense under national law, with penalties including long-term imprisonment and asset confiscation. The hemp industry represents a major economic opportunity for Kazakhstan, with the potential to boost exports and develop sustainable industries. However, ensuring robust oversight, strict law enforcement and public awareness will be essential to prevent illegal use and address public health concerns. The challenge now is to strike a balance between economic benefits and social responsibility. The government of Kazakhstan has introduced new regulations for acquiring citizenship, streamlining the process for some groups while reinforcing legal requirements for others. The changes come amid a surge in applications from foreign nationals, particularly ethnic Kazakhs and residents of neighboring countries. Kazakhstan Ministry of Internal Affairs has confirmed that citizenship can now be obtained through two primary procedures: simplified and general application processes. Officials emphasize that ethnic Kazakhs, thus spouses of Kazakhstani citizens and nationals from Russia, Belarus and Kyrgyzstan, are eligible for an accelerated process. Meanwhile, all other applicants must meet strict residency and language requirements. The new measures aim to enhance integration efforts while ensuring that those seeking citizenship have a basic understanding of the Kazakh language, constitution and national history. These steps, according to government representatives, will strengthen national identity and social cohesion. Officials report a notable increase in applications, particularly from Khandas, which is ethnic Kazakhs, returning to their homeland, and foreign professionals seeking to settle in Kazakhstan. In 2024 alone, over 50,000 people applied for citizenship, reflecting Kazakhstan's growing appeal as an economic and political hub in Central Asia. The Migration Service confirms that higher education students of Kazakh origin studying in local universities are also being encouraged to apply, reinforcing the country's strategy to retain skilled young professionals. However, the citizenship process is not without controversy. Some applicants have raised concerns about bureaucratic delays, while legal experts warn that the language and history exam requirements may create barriers for long-term foreign residents who haven't fully adapted to Kazakhstan's cultural and legal framework. In response, authorities have stated that language support programs will be expanded and additional resources will be allocated to the Migration Service to process applications more efficiently. Who said that a pilot has to be a man? The heroine of our next story proves that the sky is open to everyone. Elena Nuriyeva doesn't just fly a plane, she does it with a professionalism that inspires confidence in every passenger. How did the girl manage to conquer aviation? Dreams come true, Elena Nuriyeva says with a smile. Since childhood, she has looked at planes in the sky with admiration, dreaming of being in the pilot's cabin. At the time, it seemed that this goal was unattainable, but persistence and hard work did their job. Today, Elena is a second pilot for Scott Airlines. Her path began as a flight attendant, and now she confidently takes off into the sky herself. Height, speed, thousands of kilometers of travel for her, this is already everyday life. Elena spends about 800 hours a year in the sky transporting passengers to different countries and cities. Airplanes always come first for her, she admits.
As Confucius said, choose a profession that you like, and you will never work a day in your life. This is the absolute truth. A pilot's job is about self-education, perseverance, stability, responsibility, and maximum discipline.
The main thing in a pilot's job is attentiveness and responsibility, says Elena. From takeoff to landing, everything depends on the crew, and each flight is like the first. But according to the girl, warm words of gratitude from passengers are worth all the difficulties of this profession.
Do you hear when passengers clap for you? And do you like it? No, we don't hear it, but the flight attendants tell us, and we are very pleased. Thank you.
Before takeoff, the crew goes through all the necessary checks. There are more than 100 passengers on board. The final preparations and the plane is getting ready for takeoff. And these were the important events of the week that our editorial team believes are important to know about. Happy upcoming weekend and goodbye.